Hello there and welcome. Today's icon guest is a woman whose life's work is rooted in service, resilience, and redefining what healing truly looks like. Karen Dalton is the founder and executive vice president of Dare to Dream Ranch, a nonprofit dedicated to helping service members, veterans, and their families heal through alternative therapies, including equine programs, outdoor skill building, and community connection. With decades of leadership across nonprofit, healthcare, and federal service, Karen has built a career centered on impact and innovation. Her background includes serving as executive director of the Rhode Island Academy of Family Physicians, leadership roles within the United States Postal Service, and executive director of Shoulder to Shoulder, where she helped bring critical medical and dental care to rural communities in Honduras. Her work has been recognized across television, radio, and national publications, and she continues to be a sought-after speaker, sharing her message with audiences across the country. But what makes Karen truly remarkable is her unwavering commitment to those who have served, creating powerful, alternative paths to healing that restore confidence, connection, and purpose. Please help me welcome a woman who is not only leading with her heart, but creating real change where it matters most. Karen Dalton, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here today.
I'm so thrilled. So tell me, we start off with the icon. What does being an icon mean to you?
Well, I don't ever like to see myself as an icon, but what it means to me is somebody that really stands firmly in who they are and what they're about and what they believe in. It's more of a symbol where others can hold on to when they feel lost.
I love that. I love that. But most icons don't set out to be icons, right?
Right. Somebody that they just do the work. They don't set out to be an icon. They're not looking for the recognition of icon. It's somebody that really has turned their pain into purpose. They're trying to lift others up, carry on, to be able to carry on their own weight. They don't ask for permission to make an impact. They're just trying to do the work and not necessarily get the recognition. It's just real, relentless, and, rooted in something bigger than yourself. People ask me all the time, why should I support you? And I say, you don't. You support who I'm trying to help. If I don't have that support, then I can't help other people. So it really is a community effort, and being able to pull all those resources together. While I might come up with the ideas, it really is a team, and having the community behind you to make it a real change.
I love it. That's what makes you unapologetically badass and a true icon. What's a moment in your life that made you feel unstoppable?
I have to say it wasn't one specific moment. It's more of a series of lines that I refused to let anyone cross again. When I was just 10 years old, my father had thrown me across a room and stood over me with a fist at my face because I didn't feed my pony on time. Again, at 16, threw me against a wall with a fist at my face. And that time, something just shifted. And I looked at him and said, go ahead, you do that, and you'll never see me or your granddaughter ever again as long as you live. And I feel like that was my first time that I chose myself over fear. That, life tested me, and, I had to pull something up from within me to say, no, we're not going to do this again. But, I ended up marrying someone who made me feel small, who, wanted to be out with his friends and always made excuses on why he couldn't be with his family, myself and my children. And, the last time he was inches from my nose and he's yelling and swearing at me and cussing me out. And I was like, that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. And I made the same choice. This time, I didn't just find my voice, I acted on it. I got divorced, I walked away. I had no idea how I was going to rebuild my life. I was on a medical disability. I was on a lot of medications, starting over from basically nothing. And, I made that decision that I was going to take my life back. I was not going to let somebody determine who I was and my worth. I went back to work part-time. I was going to school. While I was studying to be a health coach, I started learning about how doctors were changing health policies and wellness policies, and how they were using nutrition and exercise and time in nature and surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded people to get to the root cause of diseases and the pain that their patients were in. Yep. And that really hit me hard because that's what I had lived. That's who I was. And, pain isn't where the story ends. It really is where everything changed and where transformation began. And that's how Dare to Dream Ranch came about, was, going through the school, and I realized that I wasn't surviving anymore. I was building something that could help other people survive and then rise. And, so that's really, I just wanted to make a difference in somebody else's life by what I had gone through in my experience.
Yes, I love that. And what made you unstoppable with this?
I think because I stopped asking for permission. I stopped asking, is it okay to do something? Is it okay if I, help other people? And I stopped waiting for approval and validation from other people and shrinking myself to make other people feel comfortable. If something felt wrong, it really was. And it was like, okay, what are we going to do next? Somebody told me I couldn't do something, or you're asking really lofty things, Karen. You're asking an awful lot. I said, well, I'm willing to give a lot to be able to help other people. So I don't feel that I was whispering like there's more to life, and I'm going to make sure that happens. So I was not going to ignore my voice anymore and make sure that I'm doing the things that I love.
That is great. And you did it unapologetically.
I did. People told me that, Karen, you're making this one's upset. And I'm like, you know what? Just let them go. And you just got to keep moving forward.
That's fantastic. So you've built something powerful, but what values or mindset helped you do that?
Oh, there were three things, really: resiliency, boundaries, and a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that I actually teach my clients. It's called passions, talents, and purpose. What are you passionate about? Time and money doesn't matter. Talents, what are your skill sets to date? We never stop learning. And purpose, who do you want to help so they don't go through what you or somebody has gone through? And then make that your life, your career, or your calling. Resiliency, I've lived through moments that really thought were going to break me. And I just made a decision that they weren't, not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently. And, setting boundaries, I learned the hard way that you can't build something meaningful if you're constantly giving yourself away to everyone else. Protecting my time, my energy, and my mission really changed everything. There were a lot of people that kept asking me to do things for them and support them. And I tried to do my best, and then weren't doing that same for me in my time, and respecting my time and respecting my work and what I do. And, having that purpose really, I was on disability, and through horses and gardening and time in nature and surrounding myself with positive, like-minded people, I got better. So my goal was to break that cycle whatever way I can. And each year we've actually grown and expanded, because a veteran will come to me and say, hey, can you find me a service dog? I'm like, I can do that. Better yet, I'm going to breed and train myself to make sure that I have the right dog for people that have PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And we have these beautiful Australian Shepherd dogs that are Velcro dogs. They attach to you. They follow you everywhere you go. Mine is actually just outside the room, because she'd be like trying to get in the screen and in my space between the camera and I. And they just go everywhere you go. Every room you go into, they follow you. And, they really know when you're very intuitive. They're extremely smart. And being able to raise these puppies from the day that they're born, making sure they're handled, make sure they don't bark at people or bark at other dogs, and they're extremely well behaved. And out in public, I've had a dog that one of the veterans he's a Marine, and he was having night terrors in his sleep. And he woke up to his dog on top of him, licking his face, and, waking him up positively. And I have a Vietnam veteran that cries every time he talks about how we were able to provide this dog that saved his life. He just keeps saying over and over again, this dog has saved his life. So for me to be able to do that, we're working on our third litter right now, depending on how much sponsors we get to be able to do that. But we're working on having the next litter come up. And she had 8 puppies the first 2 litters, and we're hoping she has another 8 so that we can support another 8 veterans. So it's really so rewarding. It's so incredibly rewarding. And the work that we do with the horses as well, but the dogs is really, you can feel it.
Yeah, yes, it's beautiful. And I had the pleasure of meeting one of them. And these dogs are not only they're beautiful, but oh my God, what a blessing it is to give that to a veteran. And just
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And, it's creating something bigger than yourself.
yes,
And hopefully be able to have that system in place that, if something ever happened to me, this nonprofit will continue on, to be able to have the resources to keep going with programs. We just had an amazing donor to give us money to be able to buy another 5 acres behind our property. And our goal for that is to build our own fly fishing pond so that veterans could come in and get lost in the woods and just go fishing and find their healing in nature. It really is so therapeutic to be out in nature and surrounded by trees and birds and, just out there fishing.
that's beautiful. So, but who inspires you to like stay bold and keep going? Because I know that it gets hard.
It gets very hard. Raising money is really, really hard. And
Yeah.
these days there are a lot of nonprofits out there and everyone's trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
How do you find those funds that will support our veterans and their family members? But when you see a veteran that is saying that you've changed their life, and thank you for that. And, we had somebody that was staying here last summer. He was here for 5.5 months, 6 months, and he's now down in Texas. And he texted me the other day. He goes, I want to build what you have built in Texas. He wants to build in Texas what I've built here so he can help the veterans the way we helped him. That's what you have to hold on to, because the hard days, they're hard. We just had a storm 2 nights ago and it destroyed a structure. And it's like, okay, well, we're not going to put up one of those again. We have to make sure it's more sturdy. We had these Shelter Logic tents that we were using for shelter for the cows. And you have a severe windstorm, which we've had a lot of them in the last 3 winters. And, they're destroyed. So next time you have to build something that's stronger, right? Just like in life, something gets knocked down, you go, okay, how do I build that better? How do I build that stronger? And the structures are just a metaphor for that. But, that's something that we're constantly battling. Mother Nature. Animals get sick, animals get hurt, and do things that they're not supposed to do, and sometimes substance abuse gets in the way, and there's always challenges, and you just have to hold on to the fact that you can change. If you can change one life, it's worth it.
Oh, it's beautiful. And the work that you're doing is really so inspiring. I love hearing that he wants to do what you're doing and in Texas. I think that's just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And Karen, so your story, of course, includes personal challenges, but how did you turn that pain into the purpose you have today?
Well, part of my story is learning to love. That love doesn't always come with respect, right? You can pour everything you have into helping people in my own family, even showing up, sacrificing, doing everything in my power to lift them up, only to be disrespected. And that kind of pain cuts deep. It hurts when you're trying to do everything you can for somebody else and they don't reciprocate. It hurts.
Yeah.
It forces you to face the hard truth that you can love people deeply and still have to choose yourself. You still have to say, I got to take care of me. And for a long time, I questioned my worth. People always putting me down, telling me how I was wrong. And I wondered, should I just give more, do more, try harder? Things would change. They'd respect me. They'd understand. They'd see how hard I'm working. But they didn't. And so I just made the choice, instead of letting that pain break me, I let it focus me, pushed harder to pour into places that couldn't receive me, and start pouring myself into a purpose that could. And my strength sharpened, my boundaries, built bigger, and my mission really became more clear. Even everything I went through, I use it to help others feel seen, supported, and respected in ways I once needed myself, because pain can either drain you or it can define you. And I chose to let it define me and define my purpose.
That is beautiful. And yes, we all go through our things, right? We all have the ish in our lives, but it's, how do we get through it? And that's what makes you an icon, Karen.
Thank you. I posted something, somebody talking about a testimonial, and somebody commented on social media about calling me a hero. And I said, I'm not a hero. I'm not a hero. I'm just someone trying to make a difference, trying to help other people to be able to reach their goals and their dreams the way I had always wanted somebody to do for me.
That's beautiful. And yes, you are a hero to others. All right. So I love talking about our younger selves. What would your younger self be shocked and proud to see you doing now?
Oh, I think my younger self would be shocked that I'm no longer afraid and proud that I never gave up. She'd be shocked that the little girl who once felt powerless, who stood there facing fear and uncertainty, grew into a woman who had her voice and set boundaries and walks away from anything that doesn't honor her worth. And, I was always thought that I had to put up with everything, especially if it's family or, in business or things like that, is you're supposed to put up with it. You're supposed to deal with it. And I think I've grew into that woman who uses her voice and sets boundaries and walks away from things that, really don't honor my worth. But more than anything, I think she'd be proud that I didn't let pain define my limits, proud that I turned it into something meaningful and purposeful, and proud that I built a life where I'm not just surviving, I'm helping other people to survive and rise.
I think that's beautiful. And she would be
Thank
very
you.
proud of you. She is very proud of you. All right. So I have to ask Karen, what's one product, ritual, or mindset shift that makes you feel like a badass queen daily?
Every morning, I really start my day with a cup of tea. I have to have my tea to start my day, and writing down my goals for the day, speaking my truth out loud, talking to myself and telling myself you can do this. There are always going to be challenges. You think you have everything lined up, and the volunteers call and say, or text and say they're not feeling well, they're not going to be here, and I'm like, okay, so let's just rearrange things. But it sounds simple, but saying it out loud, really what I will and will not accept for myself, set the tones for the entire day. It's a mind shift. I'm in charge of my energy, my choices, my life.
Yeah.
I like to say I flow like the river. A river does not stop because there's a rock or a piece of wood. Water is so, so powerful. And I always just say, you got to flow like the river. You have to just take a deep breath and go, okay, how am I going to shift this? How am I going to move? And, small daily acts remind me of just how powerful I can be, and that I'm worthy and I deserve to be validated and validate my strengths. And by the time I walk out that door and start my chores in the morning, I'm ready to face the world like a badass queen, because I decided I am, I can do this, and I do not need to make myself small to make somebody else feel better.
Oh, absolutely. I 1000% agree. I love the daily ritual. I have my miracle morning, and it's just such a powerful way to start our days. And most resilient, powerful, successful women have those rituals. And I'm really happy that you do that too. Okay. So, what else would you like us to know about the amazing Data Dream Ranch?
Well, Data Dream Ranch is a 501c3 nonprofit that offers alternative therapy for veterans and their family members struggling with post-traumatic stress, anxiety, depression, military sexual trauma, mild traumatic brain injury. From equine therapy, gardening, woodworking, fly fishing. We help with food. Our eggs from our chickens, vegetables from our garden go to feed our homeless veterans. Again, we breed and train psychiatric service dogs for our veterans. And we have so much more to do. We really are a resource for veterans. They call me and they say, hey, I need help with this, and I really do my best to find them the resources that they need. Where resilience meets purpose and pain becomes power. Every day we help veterans heal, find strength, and rise again. You can be part of that impact. Our viewers can be part of that impact. Support us by donating, volunteering, or referring somebody, and you could help change a life today. You can visit us at www.daretodreamranch.org. Click on donate, send me an email, say how you'd like to volunteer or how you would like to help us help our veterans and their family members move forward.
That is beautiful. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, this would be such a great way to end the show. You want to introduce your furry friend?
This is Miss Sage. She's the mama to the puppies that we raise. She is actually due to have her next litter on May 6th. So yes, she's a great mama.
She's a
Beautiful babies.
beautiful, beautiful mama. Hi, Sage. Welcome.
Hi.
You are a badass, right?
Yes,
Look at what you're doing to help others, Sage. What a beautiful way to end it. Karen, you truly are unapologetically badass. Thrilled to share your journey, share Dare to Dream Ranch with everyone. Thank you for being a true icon.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Bye.
thank you, Sage.
Bye.
Most women aren't stuck. They're just playing smaller than they were meant to. I'm Renee Carbone-Fleming, multi-six-figure network marketing leader, brand strategist, and the woman behind Badass Queen. I've built businesses, led teams, and helped women turn their voice into visibility, income, and real independence. This isn't about posting more content. It's about building a brand that actually pays you. So if you're done playing small and ready to build your own effort fund, you already know where to find me.